Hello everyone and welcome to the Bowling University studio from the International Bowling Campus here in Arlington, Texas. I'm Bart Burger and I'll be your host for this edition of the Bowling University Profit Break. Thanks for joining us. Our mission here at the university is to enrich people's lives personally and professionally, and the Profit Break is an opportunity for sharing insights on how to grow revenue, reduce costs, enrich yourself, your team, and your business. If you're joining the Profit Break for the first time, welcome. We're glad you're here. Give us 15 minutes and you'll be well on your way to improving your profitability. On today's show, we're going to talk about customer service, or as we teach to here at the university, the guest experience, and why it's such an easy topic to understand, but yet so difficult to teach. So let's jump right in. Let's talk about this customer service training here. Now, as I mentioned, this is really the end of customer service, that customer service is no longer enough. What we strive for now, and you hear this term used a lot, and that is the customer is now the guest and service is now an experience. And yes, I totally understand that it still is customer service, but if you close your eyes and just in your mind's eye, mention the term customer service, you get a certain mental image. And if you use the term guest experience, you get a quite different mental image. So we're going to teach to the guest experience because in today's competitive environment, it's no longer enough. Now, just kind of a backdrop, I think we can all agree that increasing guest retention is going to increase your profitability. A recent study that we saw said increasing the guest retention rate, which means getting those guests to come see you more often or to come back and see you and not lose them, just 5% can increase profitability by 95%. Now look, I don't know if that number is correct or not, but I think we can all agree that increasing the guest retention and increasing guest frequency, all those together, it does nothing but increase profitability. So we know it's good for the business. So there's a couple of kind of prerequisites that we have to get to. And actually, Gerald mentioned this in one of his previous Profit Break episodes. It's a great episode. I'd encourage you to go back and take a look at that one if you haven't already. But just to kind of level set the baseline of what Gerald talked about is that first and foremost, you've got to create the mission, vision, and values for leaders. Now, if you're there, splendid. If you need to get to that space, then know that we have an online, on-demand course that's available for you on creating mission, vision, and values. And then as a follow-up to that, we developed 3 courses that go in concert with that. And Gerald spent a lot of detail talking about that in his episode. The first is developing service standards for leaders, understanding what service standards are and how to develop them. The second course is executing. Once you've defined and developed those service standards, understanding how to execute those service standards for leaders. And then finally, after you've done all that work, how do we measure those service standards? How do we know if they're working or not? So that's 3 additional courses, all 30 minutes or less. They're really the prerequisites to get you kind of level set to where we are. So once you've completed those 4 courses, you're really ready to get started. And let me remind you, how do we train for customer service? Well, it really starts with you. And we like to say that it's not easy, but it is simple. And I can't tell you how critical the statement is for this is just not easy, but yet it's something we all understand, but it's so hard to teach. And we've just struggled this, not only in our industry, but really in all retail industries, we struggle with that. It's certainly not easy, but it is simple. Let's unpack it. Now, you have an option. If you'd like to go develop your own service standards, and some organizations do, that's great. We've given you the tools and the prerequisites to do that. But for most of us, we're far too busy to be able to do that. We've taken the time here to develop some for you, and we refer to them as START. And that's, again, we've got an awesome online on-demand education program, that course. It's 30 minutes. It's called START. And I would just encourage you that because we're all so busy these days, give this program a try and let's dig in there and let's give you the tools you need to make it where it is easy, because it is simple. Now we're going to unpack the easy part for you. So START is a trainable, easy to execute set of service standards that we've already developed for you. We've broken the course down into 5 videos that you would use for all of your frontline staff, anyone that engaged with a guest, and I would even tell you, even the folks in the back end, behind the foul line should take this as well. And really, all total is less than 30 minutes. So what I'd like to do is I'm going to show you one of the videos. This is actually the opening video to give you a little look and feel of the course so you can see how easy and straightforward it is, so we can, in fact, make it easy. Let's take a look.
You are a great person and you have a great attitude. How do I know? Because if you didn't, you wouldn't be part of this team. Now, we're going to give you some guidelines to be able to put that awesome attitude to work. We do that by utilizing the START method. It's a simple acronym to remember, and once you start putting it into practice, you'll be well on your way to taking great care of our guests. Working with people involves human interaction, and you can't plan for or teach to every situation. That would be a bit like trying to get to the end of the internet. Not possible, but the START programs give you a great place to, well, start. So let's take a look at what START means, and then we'll share some examples with you. The S is for show your smile. Be nice to everyone you meet. Be positive. The T is for tell them hello. Greet everyone who comes within 20 feet of you. Use a name, if and when possible. The A is for act enthusiastically. Listen, respond, under promise, over deliver. The R is for really care. Say, I'll find out. Never say, I don't know. If you say you're going to do something, do it. Finally, the T is for thank everyone. Never let anyone leave without a thank you, and invite them back. It's important to note that while we're talking about service standards for our guests, this is also the way we should be treating each other on the team as well. Let's take a look at each of the standards and share some examples with you.
So imagine that as your opening video of the course, short, sweet, to the point. The whole thing is less than 30 minutes, and it helps you really quantify and teach to at your location what the great guest experience looks like. How do I give great customer service there? Now, the program also comes with some POS. We have, I love the 22 by 28 posters. You could even make some wallet cards, because you've got to reinforce this. We've got to be, it's not a one and done. They just don't take the course for 30 minutes and then all of a sudden your services, your guest experience is better. You have to keep reinforcing it. So I love the sample here. I've got the 22 by 28 poster that you could hang around the center in those break areas, not for the guest eyes, not for the customer's eyes, but for your team members' eyes in the break rooms and the offices and the behind the scenes area, to just kind of reinforce what you're trying to teach, because it is simple, but we want to make it easy for them. Show your smile, tell them hello, act enthusiastically, really care, thank everyone. While we know these are things we want our team members to do, we now can hold them accountable to be able to do that. And that's the magic, the simplicity of defining this and making it that you can use it as a tool to teach. Because otherwise, what are your alternatives? You tell a new team member during orientation, you've got to give great customer service. You've got to give a great guest experience. But what does that look like, and how do you define that in doing that? So know this, it's an interaction, not a transaction. We've got to teach the folks how to interact with people, our team members, and be able to quantify for them. And I just love that this START is a way to be able to do that. The data shows 86% of guests are willing to pay more for a better guest experience. You and I as consumers will pay to be well taken care of. We really will, especially in this environment, in doing that there. And just know that it really is, this thing is a journey and not a destination. Service standards are simple, but they're not easy. And you can't expect your teams to know if we haven't exposed them or documented what those standards are. And the example I like to use is that of Chick-fil-A. It's one that we've studied and one that many of you know. And you know that they have excellent service standards, and probably their most classic and well-known service standard of all is that you as a customer, if you tell them thank you or acknowledge them in any way, they answer back with, of course, my pleasure. We know that. What you may not know is that Stuart Cathy, the founder of Chick-fil-A, didn't invent that service standard himself. And also it took many years for that to be ingrained into the culture of the organization. He didn't wake up one morning and say, we're going to tell everybody my pleasure, to acknowledge them no matter what the response is. And the staff just didn't do that magically. In fact, it was quite the opposite. In his story, it took many years to integrate that in there. So don't give up, right? This is simple, but it's not easy. you've got the tool now to be able to do that, because it's important to note that leaders are repeaters. As leaders of your organization, you have to be repeaters, and you have to say it again and again and again and again. Not unlike parenting, right? How many times do you have to tell your children something before they engage and remember it? Far too many, we think, right, as parents? How many times are you going to have to tell your team members how to deliver a great guest experience? Far more than you want, but leaders are repeaters. And we've given you the tools, and we've got a great program for you to be able to do that. So all you have to do if you're interested in that online course is go to our online on-demand section. That is there. Remember, the 4 prerequisite courses are there for you. If you've already got that under your belt, you're ready to go. Just go to the start, and hey, just get started. It's there for you. So as we wrap up another edition of the University Profit Break, remember that when your focus is on growing people, people will grow your business. We look forward to seeing you next time for another great episode. If you have any questions about today's show or like any additional information on any of the courses we talked about, you can reach us anytime at education@bpaa.com. Also, all of the previous Profit Breaks, including the great one that Gerald did as a prerequisite, are available 24/7 for you and your team to watch at bowlinuniversity.net. Plus, new Profit Break episodes are available every month. Mark your calendar, watch your email, and join us on Facebook to hear about the latest episodes. Until then, I'm Bart Burger, and remember, do for one what you wish you could do for everyone. We'll see you next time.